Hey badass, good evening. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful week. My kids just went to school yesterday, and if you have children or loved ones who are little kids going off to school, I hope they are off to a great start as well. All right, so it's National Rice Month. Who knew? But September is National Rice Month, but the only problem is rice can be a little boring, and so can chicken. And you and I, we are not boring. So let's go badass some chicken and rice, and let's take it to Malaysia. So our dishes tonight are Malaysian rice with a curried baked chicken that's also inspired by Malaysia. So let's start off with our rice. We're gonna take our Instant Pot because of course we wanna eat that rice soon. And we're gonna put in just enough canola oil to cover the bottom. Oop, that's not quite enough. Cover the bottom of the pan. Now what we're gonna do, you might remember, as we've talked about before, it is so important to have lots of flavors infused in your rice as it's cooking. Don't even wait till later, put it in now. So we're just letting this saute. It's gonna need a few minutes to pop up, and we are gonna add some shallots. Those are a bunch of shallots all chopped up, and I just got oil on my hands, so hold on one second. And we have someone to help us put all these fun layers, our flavor layers inside our Instant Pot, and that is Catherine. Come on in. Ooh, and dancing for us too. Very nice.
Hello.
Thank you. We are glad you're here.
Yeah.
All right, so my dear, what we need are some really fun Malaysian spices. And part of Malaysia was on the Great Spice Route, and they really embraced all the different spices that not only were like indigenous to their own area, but also that would come through from other countries and cultures as well. So God bless them being just so open to all of that. So Catherine, what do you think that's?
Cinnamon?
Yeah, so throw in that cinnamon stick so we can start to, release its flavors into the pot. Should we move that forward a little bit? Can you see it better then?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. This I'm particularly fond of. Look at this. It looks like a flower. It's called star anise, and we're gonna put two of
Can I
them in
smell
there.
it?
Yeah, please.
Ooh, that smells good.
Kind of smells like licorice, doesn't it?
Well, it has the strongness of licorice, not
Yeah.
really the licorice smell.
Okay, well, that's wonderful.
To me, at
Throw
least.
those puppies in there, and you can see what we want. Oh, it would help if we had a spoon. What we want
We have
is,
one.
no, that's actually we're gonna use that as a spatula over there. What we want is we want these big old whole spices to start cooking so that they'll release their aromatic fragrance, which sounds really fun. Okay, now this one's teeny tiny, but yet it packs a punch. Can you see that? Can you see those little tiny, those are cardamom pods, and they are really delicious. You might have had them ground up, but they're particularly good in rice all by themselves. And they're gonna cook up just fine. If you bite into one, you'll never even know it. The same goes for cloves. We want whole cloves to go in here as well. Ta-da! And let's see, is there anything else? Oh, yeah, so we're gonna stir this up.
Yes.
Would you please? Just make sure not to touch the edges, okay? Because that will be warm. So we want those to cook up all nicely. Now I have to tell you, both of these recipes are inspired by a wonderful website called Roti N Rice. So ROTINRICE.com. We'll put it down, in the recipe that we share, so that on our website, so that you can look up yourself. But this wonderful lady named Linda, who's from Malaysia, but now lives in Colorado and has traveled across the world, and her food really reflects all those different experiences she had. She has a whole section on gluten free, including a tapioca cake that I'm definitely gonna try. So I recommend you check that out because it's another wonderful resource. All right, so we have these wonderful spices and the shallots cooking up. Now it is time to put in our rice. Now you can use any kind of rice. In fact, in honor of National Rice Month, I must let you know that there are 40,000 different kinds of rice. Where are all these kinds? I have to try them. But here is brown basmati. Why can't I say it, Catherine? I don't know how to say it. Basmati? Basmati.
Yeah,
Thank you.
basmati.
Basmati. I also can't really say the word brewery very well either. but yet I like to drink beer, at least gluten-free beer. So I'm going with brown instead of white because then you do get that extra sense of wholesomeness. And we add that. And then Catherine, this is salt and turmeric.
What's turmeric?
Turmeric is a delicious spice that we do not eat enough of. So why don't you pour that in? All right. All right, very good, very good. And then we have golden raisins that we're going to put in. Did you put those in?
So what's the difference between a golden raisin and a regular raisin?
Well, so if you think about it, when you see grapes growing, right? You can see the slightly green grapes, and you can see like the purple grapes. That is the difference. And it's raining raisins. But the other important thing is that these kinds of grapes that make the golden raisins also make the golden wine. Ooh. Susan Kelly, you are asking a wonderful question, and I'm glad you have asked that. So here's the thing, you absolutely have to remove the cinnamon stick, but my thought is to keep both of the stars in there, and then whoever gets served them, wins the game, and you have something special for that person. They actually don't want to eat it, but it could be kind of fun if they found it as they were, taking a forkful out. All right, but the cardamom stays in there and the cloves stay in there, absolutely. So Andrew, come take a good look at this, will you? So look how wonderful that is, all those flavors, all those colors, and we're gonna pour in our water. Ooh, exactly, I like that. Let's give that a woo. All right, so let's put
the top on.
The top on. And let's see if I can do this backwards. I think I can. All right, now I'm just going to turn this around for a moment so I can see. And we're going to pressure cook.
No.
Oops, first we're going to cancel that. We're going to pressure cook, and we want to cook our basmati rice, got it that time, for 15 minutes. So while this cooks, and what I was sharing before is those kinds of grapes, if they don't become raisins, they can become this.
Ooh, what's
that? That is Riesling, which I would recommend a little bit of a sweeter Riesling or other kind of sweeter wine to go with this spiciness. And again, you can make it as hot or as mild as you want, but definitely there is a lot of spice and flavor to it. And you want a little something calm to kind of, bring it all together. Thank you, Susan. How's the start of school year going for your family? All right, so now we are gonna make the special curry sauce that goes on the potatoes and the chicken. All right, so we have our blender. You have your handy blender. Here we have a lot of shallots. This is good. This is gonna give an amazing amount of aromatic, flavor and so forth. Do you wanna put all those in? Can you get those all in? Let's get them in. Yes. Woo!
Come on, guys.
There you go.
Wow, it almost fills the whole
I know, good job. And then in here, we have 2 cloves of garlic and a section of peeled ginger. Very important. You pour those in, please. And we have 3/4 of a cup of water because we want to help this. And what we're looking for is a little bit of kind of a chunky sauce. We're not looking for a liquid smoothie here. We want it to have a little oomph to it, a little texture. We're actually going to put that in after we start to get this moving because otherwise it just throws the spices all over the side of it and we don't necessarily need that. Now the big question is, where did I put the top of the blender?
Let me go find it. You keep talking.
Are you sure? Oh, found it. Good. I'm so glad, Susan, that your son is liking high school. Andrew's gonna have to pick his high school for next year, so we're just going to 8th grade, so any tips that you have would be very helpful.
Yeah. I got it.
All right, good job. So now we're gonna start, and we're gonna just kind of put it in the middle. So we're gonna start blending that up. And now I can tell that it could use a little more water. And that's the thing. We're starting with 3/4 of a cup, but we may need more depending on what the shallots require.
That smells good.
Doesn't it? So do you remember the other day when you were on, or a couple weeks ago, you were on onion patrol when we were making the Bavarian goulash. And we're gonna put in, okay, so we're gonna put in our curry and our salt. We'll talk about the big curry in a while.
What is
Well,
in here?
we will explain that soon.
And what are the spices that you've just
As soon as we are done doing this, I would love to tell you.
Okay.
We have 11 spices that we put in our own curry. Now you can make your own curry like we did. And again, we will give you the recipe to do that, or you can go out and buy your curry too.
I'm gonna blend it.
Okay.
Oh.
That was,
Bubbles.
I know, isn't it? It's all full of fun air. All right.
Alright, how about you guys come take a look?
Yeah, come take a look. So as you can see, there's some texture to that. Okay. Can you smell all the spices
Yeah,
in
it
there?
smells it already. It smells
Yeah,
really good.
yes. What are you drinking?
I'm just drinking plain old water.
Okay, that's good. That's what we want. Now, you can use white meat. I really like dark meat. So we're gonna put in, so this serves 4. So everyone gets a thigh and a drumstick. There's definitely room in the pan if you wanna do a little bit more than that. Or use a smaller pan and use less. It's up to you. So given this new website that I'm all excited about, what do you use for like your gluten-free resources? What are the cookbooks or websites or TV shows that you watch that make you say, ooh, that's like gluten-free living looks really good? Susan, I appreciate that honest insight into 8th grade versus high school. Amen to all of that. And I'm glad it's going well. Then we're gonna do potatoes. What I like about like a little bag like this, I don't have to cut nothing. And we get different color potatoes.
Can I put them in?
Sure. You just dump them right in. Take them both. And yep. They also have those, little bags where they've got the purple and white and red. That would work great too. If you find any of the potatoes happen to be a little bigger than the others, just cut them in half.
What about this
You'll be
little
good.
guy?
Oh, he's fine. Yeah.
All of them?
Yeah, please. The more potatoes, the better. We can get our veggies in then.
I'll go throw this in the garbage.
Okay, awesome. Now we're gonna take our curry sauce and we're just gonna pour it over the top.
Ta-da.
It just smells very, very good. I have to say that. Ooh. Let's get all that goodness out. And then we're just gonna kind of push it around a little to make sure, yeah, so we kind of want everything to be covered. All right, it'll eventually make itself down. Okay, I just dropped curry on my foot, so I'm gonna wipe that off. We love some curry on the foot.
Alright, how does this look, Mom?
Ooh, that looks really good.
Take a look, guys.
That looks very nice. I do want some of these over here. I don't want them to get dry. I want them to be happy with some moisture.
Okay.
Okay, those other little extras. Whew,
Little guy.
that looks really good, Catherine.
This is fun.
With the shallots, to me they taste like this total blend of like onion and garlic, which I always think is wonderful because then I don't have to like cut up garlic on top of it. It's just perfect. All right, I think we're doing awesome. All right, so we're gonna put this in the oven, 375 for an hour and a half. It's nice and heavy.
Time.
Yeah. Well, you want everything to be cooked through.
Would it be faster in the Instapot if you just put all that stuff in the Instapot?
It would, but then you don't have the baked. And we Instapot and we braise all sorts of things, and I think it's good to have some variety, and that sometimes we bake things too.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like a perfect Sunday dinner, or if you took a half day off of work to start it in the afternoon and have it ready for dinner. So excuse me as I drink my Riesling. And I have to say, I love this Save Water, Drink Riesling. That's a great title for a bottle of wine. It caught my attention, and I have to say, Riesling can be overly sweet. Ooh, this one's perfect. Just the right combination of a little bit of dry and sweetness. All right, so while our rice finishes up, let's talk about curry. Now again, you can go you could go buy pre-made curry at the grocery store, which is perfectly fine. But it is kind of fun to kind of concoct your own and decide like which kind of flavors do you want to emphasize more than others. Also, making your own gives you the great opportunity of how spicy do you want to make it, or how hot, I should say, in temperature. And for me, I love, like my taste buds love hot, but they do not, but my tummy does not. But if you can handle both, then I would suggest you put in some extra chili powder or put some cayenne in. But here's what we make. Oh my gosh, Susan, we totally have to do another wine class. In fact, they just sent me a Total Wine the other day. This thing about, here's our September classes. We should check those out.
What's a wine class?
A wine class is where you go and they give you different kinds of wines and you get to like get little tastes of them. And then samples, and then they teach you about them.
Oh.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
So you
that
kind of
sounds
learn
fun.
history and you learn the science and you get to taste it all and decide which ones you like best.
I want to taste the grapes, not the wine.
Okay, we can arrange for that. There's actually grapes in the fridge if you want some.
Nah.
Okay, so let's talk about what's in this curry right now. We'll start from the back. We have ground coriander and we have fenugreek powder, which is really fun. We have ginger, cumin, chili powder, cinnamon, pepper, more turmeric, cardamom, cloves, and mustard.
And these are all ground.
These are all ground, and it is just a wonderful combination that I really, really love. I don't think there's any such thing as a bad curry. The whole point is to be kind of creative. And from what I've heard from my friends who grew up with curries, like their mom or their grandmom or their dad had like a special recipe that was just theirs. So what is your special curry recipe? I would love to hear your measurements for those different ingredients, or what special ingredients do you put in? All right, so let's take a look. Where are we on minutes here? Oh! Well, that was exciting. Okay, so don't move that.
11 minutes.
Okay, so we're gonna let this keep cooking, and we're gonna show the real move. We're gonna show the
That was
real
exciting.
results. That was very exciting. I think it just got this whole thing moved a little bit, so that's fine. It can move.
Just don't
It's
blame
okay.
yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. All right, so here is the neat thing. When we're all done with our rice, we want to sprinkle some cashews on it.
Do I sprinkle it on everything or just?
Just on for me, just on the rice. But you're right,
Oops.
you could put it on anything. Okay, that's probably enough for me. Okay, and this, to me, is the best part of the whole thing. I am used to rose water being in Greek cooking, because I took really this wonderful Greek cooking class once. Smell this. It smells like roses.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because it comes from rose petals being soaked in water. But apparently it is a great Malaysian addition as well, which I'm super excited about. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna find a teaspoon here somewhere. Hold on, we're back up. We're back. Okay, so you're gonna take a little bit of rose water, and because a little bit goes a long way, but boy, does it add just an extra flavor. It's such an interesting combination of both sweet and savory. And what I love about this rice, honestly, anytime you get something savory, kind of like the turmeric in this rice, and you add the golden raisins and the sweet together, you're like, you have me. I am there. And so this is fantastic. And you can see our chicken here is just nice. Again, it's got a nice crispiness on it, but then the potatoes are nice and soft with the curry on it too. Thank you. So let's try this rice.
Do you mind if I put a cap on this?
I don't at all.
Just
Oh
so
my
if we
gosh.
knock it over, it will not spill.
This is a flavor profile that I don't think, you and I have too often, and it is truly delectable.
Can I try a little bit of the rice?
Yeah, please. Let's get you some raisin in there. It's even better with that. Look, Susan. I got the star anise. I think that's awesome. What a great, it was like foreshadowing. What I think this could be so good with is you can just eat it plain, like on its own. You could put eggs on it, because I love putting on eggs just about everything. And but it also goes wonderfully with this meal as well. Is there a special culture that you really enjoy and that you get gluten-free inspiration from? Please let me know. I would love to find a recipe from there or use your favorite recipe. Feel free to submit and we would love to feature it. Meanwhile, I wish you a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, just keep being you. You are a wonderful gift to this world and never, ever compromise on that. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. Take care. Bye-bye.